103.
Wow.
We should start every show like the Jimmy Fallon show with the Roots. And they should just be 103.
Do they do that?
Yeah,
I thought it was just a different.
They did it when it was. I don't watch the Tonight Show, but when he was late night, they used to go every episode ended and they would say like what episode number was. They'd be like, "Whoa!" That's my. I can't drum.
And this is not late night. This is the early morning.
Did you just wake up?
Pretty much.
It's funny because people will be watching this late.
Yeah, whatever.
So
this is live to tape.
Brock, James, Rebel Scum Podcast. Check it out. Stay in the frame, Brock.
No.
So last week while we were recording, some huge news dropped in regards to Star Wars.
Oh.
Where were you going with this?
I thought you were going to talk about, like, I don't know, current events.
I don't know anything in current events. Aaron was telling me about the news yesterday.
The news in general or something in the news?
It was in the news, like a news story. And I was like, what's that? She's like, how do you not know? And I was like, I've never heard of that. And then she told me another news story. I go, that happened? She goes, are you an idiot? But then I was like, but then I said something like, you know, I told her some useless Hollywood stuff. So I was like, who's laughing now?
But what is the news?
Well, you're saying it later in the show.
Oh,
what we talked about. So last week we were recording this podcast, episode 102.
102.
And what happened was we finished. I was packing in my car. Yeah. All of this gear goes in my car. No, none of it does.
None of this.
And I go on the Facebooks or the Twitter or some kind of social media where there's a lot of angst. And people were not angry. For the first time in like 6 months, Star Wars fans were not angry. And you got to thank all the negative fanboys, obviously.
Thanks, Chad.
The Clone Wars is coming back.
Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, if you're on our channel actively, you probably know that we had Andrew do. It was just Andrew by himself, right? Or were you there?
No, I don't like being near him.
Okay, cool. Me neither. Same Z.
Well, no, what happened was we finished recording and we both had to go to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, Andrew, this is big news. He goes, oh my God. And he started running around and whatever.
So, yeah, he's done a reaction to the trailer for that they launched in San Diego. And you know, it's so funny. Like, I thought there was not going to be much Star Wars stuff there. No, I think it was mostly they announced no movie stuff, but like there was a lot of Star Wars stuff announced.
The book announcements are phenomenal.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But this is one. I haven't read much news on this. Why are they doing this?
Streaming service.
No, just specifically because of that.
12 episodes.
Yeah.
Streaming service. What I think is they didn't finish it.
Yeah.
They have it. They have a streaming service coming. Now, I made that joke about the bitchy fanboys.
Yeah.
That's stupid. If you think that's why they're doing this, then you need to get your head out of the butthole because it's not like in December they were like, let's just bring back the Clone Wars.
I mean, why not? I mean, look how many shows they've brought back just purely on nostalgia. And like Clone Wars isn't that old, but now the it's different, right?
Well, I think also you look at it, we're losing Netflix announced, remember, like a year and a half ago. No more Clone Wars on Netflix. Oh, yeah. But then Clone Wars stayed on Netflix.
Yeah.
Then they're like, no, this time for real. And then it stayed there. And I think the ratings for Clone Wars on Netflix, I mean, you'll probably never know because they don't announce these things.
Yeah.
But I'll bet you it's somewhat high. Disney knows when Netflix is getting, I'd imagine. And Disney sees that and say, well, we're having a streaming service. We need people to subscribe.
Yeah.
You know, what do we do? Clone Wars is showing.
Yeah.
We have, my question is they did the Dark Disciple novel, which was based on a couple Clone Wars scripts. Do you think they're using the old scripts, or do you think they've retooled them, reworked it, rewritten stuff, brand new?
I haven't read the Dark Disciple. I know that has to do with Quinlan Voss and what's her name?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, Winter Soldier.
I haven't read it either.
That's basically Winter Soldier. What's her name though? The Sith apprentice. I want to say Aurra Sing. That's the bounty hunter. Asajj Ventress. Which when I first saw it, I was like, wow, that's a cool idea. But does it have anything to do with the Mandalorian Wars? Because I don't know what the 12 episodes are, but we get a pretty good sense of like, oh, or I don't know if we get a good sense, but it seems like everyone on the internet thinks that the Mandalorian Wars are what we're going to see, or Siege of Mandalore, or whatever it's called.
And the one thing that I can say to back that up is Filoni and Co.
Yeah.
That's what we call the people.
Filoni and Co.
Filoni
sandwich.
Have like a love fest for Mandalore.
Oh, sure.
Big time love affair for Mandalore. So that's why it's like, well, it makes sense that they would do that because they're not going to be doing it on the Resistance show, which some new info came out, but I haven't read that yet. The Resistance show. So it looks like it's going to be, it could be, but like, does Ahsoka bring the Siege of Mandalore to the Jedi?
It's hard to say.
I think, I haven't watched all of it. Well, I saw the video, but I think Andrew says that Mandalorian is Sabine at one point.
Yeah, I was like, I think I said that to you. I'm like, oh, is that Sabine? That'd be awesome.
But it's not because
but like
Ahsoka,
it can't be, right?
And Ahsoka looks like way younger.
Yeah, way younger.
Like you can, like Ahsoka's face.
Oh no, what I said to you was like, oh, it's Ahsoka from Starbridge. But she still looks too young.
Yeah, she's too young.
And that's how you get Sabine in because they get through time.
That'd be so cool. If
It'd be so like, what? But like, but it'd be so good because I guess old Ahsoka wouldn't tell young Anakin like what the future holds. But that would be cool. I really like, and when that last episode of Rebels came out, we're like, or not the last episode, the last few episodes, like, oh. Well, no, I guess it's the last episode because it ends. You're like, oh, please bring them back. So,
but now with this streaming service, maybe they do a whole show just about them.
Yeah, they could. I mean, so it's up to us, the fans, to love every episode constantly. Yeah. So then, will Resistance come out on Disney XD or is it straight to the streaming services?
Great question.
That's the one thing I can't remember. Because, I'm going to get this Disney streaming service. That goes without saying.
If we can get it in Canada.
Yeah, I would hope they have the smarts to make it happen. Anyways. But, yeah. Oh, though, I read something today that it launches, the Resistance starts October 13th.
Yes, that's probably Disney XD. I think you're right.
So yeah.
And the streaming service is sometime in 2019?
Doesn't matter. I'm going to try to watch all of these.
I can see it,
anyway.
I can see Resistance crossing over will be on XD and then eventually on both.
Yeah. So, that alone, if the two of those shows, my point of asking is if those two shows are only on the streaming services, like, that alone is my excuse to buy it. Like, the streaming service is interesting to me just for the Star Wars stuff, but we're forgetting it's like Disney, Marvel, Disney. So I don't know.
Pixar, Marvel, Fox.
I always lump them.
Yeah,
Fox.
By the time this all goes through, they probably have Fox.
So yeah. But anyways, my reaction to that Clone Wars was like, oh my god. It was like, oh, is it just gonna be a cheesy like here's all the lines from the show, and you're like, oh, I love hearing all these. It'd be funny if they had the guy that voices those characters, because it's not Tamora Morrison, I don't think, right?
No.
Someone else. And he has to record them again. So it's just him like talking to himself. But yeah, and then you see the helmets explode, and then you actually get footage, and I was like, halfway through that, I was like, why do we need this? Yeah, I'll watch it, but why do we need this? But then, bam! Ahsoka's back. There's a Mandalorian warrior beside her. The animation's pretty much the same, but like people pointed out like how close Anakin and Obi-Wan look into Attack of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith. So like that alone, like it's amazing how they can just show you like, what was it, 30 seconds of actual footage or teaser or whatever you want to call it. I'm like, I'm in. I'm back, baby. So, yeah, I'm psyched. Are you psyched? I think you just said to me through text, like, oh my God, this trailer.
The trailer was.
We never really talked about it.
No, the trailer was kind of like. I read the tweets that it was coming back, but I never really expected. I didn't, for some reason, never put two and two together. There'd be a trailer for it.
Like, have you ever watched the unfinished episodes on YouTube?
No.
I have, and it's hard to watch.
Well, now they're finished.
So.
Well, I saw the tweets. I never put two and two together. There was a trailer for whatever reason. I was like, oh, they just put an announcement. It's back, and everyone was like, yay, we're at Comic-Con. And then I was driving around, and I went on the Facebooks, and our friend Sheldon Norton put out like, this is the best trailer since Force Awakens. And I go, what? And I watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, it's for sure.
That was pretty good. So I texted you immediately, and then I slept. It was like, oh, it's back, and it's gonna go places that maybe we expect, but maybe we don't. Well, it's Filoni and Co.
Yeah.
So it's what I'm hoping is that it's 12 episodes, and I'm hoping that episodes 6, 7, and 8 aren't just filler. There's never filler. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just hoping, like, I hope it feels like a 12-hour long movie.
Yeah, I mean, they have the capacity to do it, and I don't know. I would really like that. Just make it. I mean, it was always fun to watch the original series with like the news trailer part of like like the old war trailers, but they did like Rebels didn't have that, and they did a pretty good job. It was still episodic, but like because it is a cartoon, so. But like they had when they would have arcs, they would have continuations, and it would work. I felt it worked. So, it's I feel like I hope that it's sort of like you have carte blanche because this show is so good. Like, I mean, they're picking things from these shows to put in the movies.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious if they go with the original stories and everything. I guess George Lucas's name would have to be more than just created by, maybe. Did he come up with some of the stories for it?
I mean, he was involved, right? I can't remember.
Thank the maker. Probably not. He probably just by the end he was like, "You do what you want, cowboy hat. I'm gonna go. I have to work on my new Howard the Duck movie."
Yeah.
I wish he would. I wish George Lucas. I wish they would do another Howard the Duck. Because think about it, it's Marvel and Lucasfilm.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time.
And Disney. Well,
a lot of people talking about that movie. So
what's her name? Leah Thompson.
Yeah.
She wants to do. Apparently, she's pitching a sequel. And I'm not saying, hey, give her whatever she needs to make this movie, but I'm going to say, give her whatever she needs to make this movie. Yeah. No.
The last ongoing Howard the Duck series had a character that looked like Leah Thompson in it. I don't know if she was supposed to be the same character. She didn't really look. She looked like current day Leah Thompson, not like 1980s.
Well, that's how she should be.
Yeah.
Do you like new Howard the Duck or old Howard the Duck better from the movies? Seth Green Howard the Duck or the other?
Well, it's hard to compare because
it's not.
Because he doesn't do anything in the movie. He's just like he's just there, and you're like,
he's in both Guardians. Right?
I know. Excuse me.
You okay?
I'm okay. I'm glad I coughed into the mic.
Hit the cough button.
Cough, 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 cough. Is it this one? Cough, cough, cough.
That's
it.
That's not. It's yours.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll move on from the Howard the Duck era of it all. But Clone Wars, obviously, I know you guys out there are all very, very excited about the Clone Wars. Later on, we're going to do our top 5 favorite episodes or moments or things that happen in the Clone Wars. This top 5 Clone. We're just going to talk about Clone Wars at the end of the show. That's basically all it is. But we got to move on to Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg. I didn't hear about this.
So apparently, Simon Pegg hates the prequels, and he's come out and bashed the prequels, and the prequels aren't very good. Blah, blah, blah. That's my impression. It sounds just like it. Darth Ward met Simon Pegg on Monday. He met him on Monday.
For what?
Rob went to the Mission Impossible Fallout premiere in Toronto. Did not get in. He got there too late. And Simon Pegg was walking out. He goes, "Hey, Simon Pegg." And Simon Pegg goes, "I'm going to go to Darth Ward." That's not how Simon Pegg sounds at all.
Not even really.
Well, if he did an impression.
Yeah.
Like, if he did that voice, he might sound just like
that. It's like, quarter portions.
Yeah, and we were out. It was our friend Marsha's birthday, and we were out, and it was like it was a $5 margarita. So I went out, and Rob's like, "Oh, I met Simon Pegg." I sent a text, and she goes, "Who's Simon Pegg?" And I go, "The guy who owns Ray." She knew him from the Full Monty.
He's in the Full Monty?
That's what I said.
What?
I haven't seen the full Monty. I don't know.
Why wouldn't you just? Did you say Shaun of the Dead at the very least?
She didn't. I said Shaun of the Dead, and then but first I said
Unclear plot.
Yeah, the guy who owns Ray. Whoa, that's mine. That sounds like something.
That's mine.
Anyway, so he hates the prequels, but now he comes out and he goes and he first off he said, people who hate The Last Jedi need to chill out. It's just a movie. Relax. He's changing his tone. And he apologized to Ahmed Best for the crap that he said about Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I think he realizes now, because he's old, right? He's like 400 now. But no, he's older now. Yeah. And I think he was realizing that, A, sorry guys, they are just movies. And B, there are human, and now he works more in the industry, but there are human beings behind every aspect of these movies. So you know what? You can hate Jar Jar Binks, but remember, somebody tried really hard to do something, and he didn't try to do it to make you hate it. And think what you wanted with The Last Jedi. Ryan Johnson didn't set out for you to hate The Last Jedi. Yeah. Even though there's that video saying he wants to do a movie where half people love it, half people hate it. He even had to respond to that and say, like, that was like 10 years ago, and it was about something completely different. Yeah. So everyone needs to hold their poop in their hands and relax. But there are human beings behind everything. And you sent me a really cool picture or article about the Rose Ticos at
Comic-Con. I applaud the people that did this at San Diego Comic-Con. I believe it was the Rose Tico rally. I should have. Sorry, I'm not together this morning, evening, afternoon, whatever you're watching this. No, but I thought of it because I sent it to you because it's definitely good for a shout out because a lot of cool things happen in San Diego and a group of people did. Forgive me for not knowing the name, but they did it. They just grouped together. It was like Rally for Rose or something, and like it was like 20 people more or less dressed like Rose Tico, which is cool. I only saw it on Instagram. I don't know. No one really made it a news story, but it's nice that this is where social media can help certain issues like the bullying stuff. So, like a lot of people don't know that she had to. Well, we know, but probably a lot of people don't know that Kelly
Marie
Tran. Awesome. I have a podcast about Star Wars. She had to delete her Instagram because so many people were harassing her. So it's nice that on the flip side, people were able to gather together through social media and the internet and saying, hey, at San Diego, if you're here and you love the character, dress up. Or if you don't, doesn't matter, just come and show up and support. And I think they had a fairly large group, and it was just really neat. Because I think, I was saying that recently when I was in a bookstore, because I saw another, or maybe it wasn't even a bookstore, it might have just been Walmart, another book with Rose on cover. And I said it to you several times. They really want to push this character. I'm not saying she's going to change the whole thing, but they're definitely trying to sell the characters of like Rose and Paige to like kids. There's a lot of like Cobalt Squadron. There's a lot of like Rose's journal and stuff like that. They're in the Star Wars Adventures a lot. They're in not her universe. That's the clothing thing. But what's the one?
Forces of Destiny.
Forces of Destiny. They did a comic series on that, and they did one with Rose and Paige, and it was like, oh, this is really cool, and arguably that's part of canon. So they really want to they could choose any character. And it makes sense because Rose is kind of an important character in the movie. Regardless of what you think, she's a major character. That's
my one thing is I understand they want to push, and I just wish she was more. Like I wish there was something more to her that made me go.
True.
Like because Holdo, like I said this many times, like I really like of the new characters. Holdo I really liked, and I like DJ, but Rose just felt like if I removed her from that movie, that movie doesn't change.
No,
like really. That's my problem with Rose. Yeah. And as it's not Kelly Tran, it's not. I'm not gonna, but like, and I'm really hope that they bring her back in episode 9. It has not been reported one way or another. I hope she doesn't just disappear, but I hope her role is enhanced and she's a stronger character.
I guess it's important that she kind of keeps Finn in the Resistance, kind of, because he would have ran. So if no one stopped him, what would the story have been? But yeah, their whole scheme kind of just completely explodes in their face.
It's not just her. Like Finn in Last Jedi to me is flat. Like you could remove both of those characters from that movie.
Yeah. It's not specific.
Like, it's not just Rose. It's Finn as well. And he loves.
Besides, Finn. Like the plot, they're having almost no relevance on the plot. Did you enjoy their adventure for adventure's sake? They're like, oh, this is kind of neat. Like you get to go to Canto Bight because of them.
No, I'm one of the 4 people that like Canto Bite.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I never thought of it while I was, not once while I was watching it. I don't think it even hit me until Rob said it about the animal rights bullcrap. Like, who gives a shoot? Like that's happened in movies before. That never occurred to me at all.
Yeah.
No, that adventure was fine. I did think it was kind of weird that they released them all and then just kind of forget about them. Because they're getting captured again. The failures. They're getting they're getting captured immediately. They captured. I did think it was weird that they dropped their ship on like the beach and not on one of the many streets or something that they could have
but
like that was
or put it in hide it in the field where they're able to hide.
Like that seemed kind of like they needed a way for them to be forced out. So that is but the whole I enjoyed Canto Bite. I never had a problem with it. It was one of those things where like it's Star Wars. I was in, but just like I felt the Rose character just is like there. And I've said this before, I feel like Rose is just because Rian Johnson wanted to create his own rebellion character that's going to last. Like, stick around.
Right.
Because Holdo dies, obviously, and DJ's whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I feel like, because I still think he was like, I tried this storyline with Poe and Finn, and it was boring. I was like, boring? Like, that would have been so much better. So that's, like, I think it may be beneficial if Poe and Finn went on their little thing, and Rose stayed back in the Poe situation.
Yeah, like if she worked with Leia more.
Yeah.
But then Leia gets taken out halfway through.
Yeah, but so I do hope that Rose comes back, and I hope that she has I hope she's because in the Last Jedi novelization she's a stronger character, and I just hope that they build on her because if you look at Lando, and for me, Lando's someone that's always been around because I don't remember the first time I saw Empire Strikes Back. But in Return of the Jedi, he's crucial. Like he's just a part of it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm hoping Rose is the same kind of way in Episode 9, The Final Hope. An old hope.
Hope floats.
Hope.
Actually, now you say Lando, it's like it would be fun to have Rose and Lando together. They're kind of, especially, I don't know. I hope they do this with like Last Shot. They have like Lando runs like a robotic company almost. So like his work with machines and then her being an engineer, like maybe they could like invent stuff together. They're like, like in Fast and the Furious, it's like Ludacris is a hacker, and now they have the other girl that's from Game of Thrones, and she's a hacker as well. And they're like, we're a team, we're hacking.
I love that you're bringing Fast and Furious.
And I haven't seen this. I just heard about this on other podcasts. I don't think there's 8 of them now, right? I remember 5 and parts of 6.
7 made $2 billion. Terrible.
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Just
I'm not saying they're not successes, but they do make money.
7 is a terrible movie. 8 is fantastic.
Right. 8
is not very good either. But there is a scene on a plane with a baby and Jason Statham. That is the best scene probably in cinema history.
Oh yeah.
And is it the Chipmunk?
Is 8 the one with Charlize Theron and Helen Mirren?
Yes.
Okay.
Charlize Theron not so good in it. Helen Mirren. But the reason Helen Mirren's in it is, I have to say, Side Akbar and Fast and Furious. They are effing ridiculous in every way whatsoever, but they have done the best job of any franchise ever to connect movies that were never made to connect to each other whatsoever. Like the guy from Tokyo Drift shows up, and you're like,
the guy that takes over Paul Walker's character.
Yeah, like this guy shows up, and Vin Diesel's like, and you're like, oh my god, they went to Tokyo Drift in the middle of this movie, and then like the bad guy. Can I just ruin Fast? Sorry guys,
do it
for Fast and Furious. So the bad guy from 5 is Luke Evans.
Yeah. He's
Jason Statham's brother.
Yeah.
Okay? And he dies in one of the movies. He's not dead. He comes back with a couple scars, and him and Jason Statham, Helen Mirren is their mom.
Yeah.
And she like recruits them to help out Vin Diesel.
Yes, because that's the one where he's like brainwashed, right?
And you're just like, what the hell is going on here? And the whole time you're like, this is the dumbest. Yeah, the brainwashed. It's so dumb. But then they have to rescue Vin Diesel's baby, which I don't understand how that works either. Because the baby's like 6 months old or like 3 months old. But there's been like 2 years between the movies. And you're just like, I don't know what's happening. But for some reason, you kind of believe it. And then he puts headphones on the baby. It's like chipmunks are playing.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a shootout with the baby. But the way they connect things, I kind of hope J.J. Abrams called these guys.
Yeah.
I think it's the same writer, like 5 to like, or 3 to like now has had the same writer of all the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, that's true. No, I think I've heard same person has written all of them. I'm pretty certain. I mean, we can look it up later, but like, I think I've heard that, which is great.
The only character I can't figure out how he hasn't come back is Ted Levine.
Oh, yeah.
He's in Jurassic Park 5.
Yeah.
You haven't seen that yet, right?
No, I know.
He has one of the worst moments in franchise history.
Great. This is great for people that are only listening to this. Yeah, so anyways, where were we? I brought up Fast and Furious. We went on a tangent.
We went on a stupid tangent. Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift is the best movie ever made. Bow
It's
Wow.
got little Bow Wows.
And with an Incredible Hulk car.
Oh, yeah?
So you've been reading Thrawn Alliances.
Yes, I have.
How far are you into it?
I'm 100 pages in. I've been watching it reading it. I've been watching the words.
I got the movie.
As I said, I have made a vow to only purchase Star Wars movies or Star Wars books digitally. So it's good. And especially, it's a lot about Darth Vader, which he's on
like Anakin or Vader.
Both. It flips back and forth, so it's pretty wild. Though, how does Thrawn end? You know the guy that he like brings up through the ranks with him? What's that guy's name?
Eli.
Yeah. Like, what happens to him at the end?
He goes to the Chisholm world, I believe.
Oh, right. He sends him off. Okay, I was like, where is that guy? So, he has not been mentioned at all.
I haven't started reading it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Allen sent us an email with a bunch of thoughts on it.
Nice.
So Dan, just so you know, I didn't really look at the email.
Yeah.
I'm going to respond to you, obviously. But I kind of read the email, like the header, like your first couple of lines. And then I was like, well, I haven't read it yet, so I can't read the rest. So I haven't read the rest yet. When you're done, you can look at it, and then I'll at some point I'll read it, or Andrew's probably reading it, because it's not based on a movie, because he doesn't read those books. So we'll find out. Well, because
he read Ahsoka.
It's not based on a movie.
Oh, okay.
She's writing the Padme book. E.K. Johnson's writing the Padme novel that's been announced.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm most excited for the Claudia Gray one, Master and Apprentice, which is Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And she always wanted to write Qui-Gon, so it's kind of like, what? They're just giving her carte
Thrawn Alliances makes me excited for Master and Apprentice, because it's like, Clone Wars. With talking about Clone Wars constantly. Also, the Darth Vader comic had their annual come out, and that was sort of it was based around Vader figuring how he figured out. Well, I guess you don't really know, but like it's a story where he figures out like what they're making. So it's it's before Rogue One. So
Sweet.
Which makes sense, because the Darth Vader thing is supposed to pick up right after Attack of the Clones or Revenge of the Sith. And it's cool. Like, it opens where it looks like Vader kills Tarkin, but he's just imagining it. And then also in the ongoing Darth Vader, I think it's just a one-off. I'm not sure. I was confused, but the way it's written is kind of cool. It's Vader hunting Tarkin on some planet, but it's like Vader told Tarkin to do that. So it's interesting to read those, and then also read Alliances, because you're getting a lot of Darth Vader stuff. And Tarkin isn't really in it. He's mentioned, but like the way they refer to each other, it's sort of like, oh, this is really interesting. They're really filling out these gaps of like how Vader feels about Tarkin, how Tarkin feels about Vader, and like Krennic is mentioned, and Krennic is in the annual, obviously, because he's trying to figure out. He thinks that Tarkin is trying to kill him and stuff like that. And should I spoil? There's not a spoiler, but there is a part that's interesting in it, and I'm going to put this out. So if you don't want to know the end of the annual, Darth Vader annual number 2, skim forward like 2-3 minutes. it ends where, well, like part of the story is that Krennic says Galen Erso is like the in between, or sorry, it's not Krennic. Vader has this like officer that just watches everything that happens to the Empire, and he trusts her to give the information. And he says the two things the one thing that's between Tarkin and Krennic is Galen Erso, because he's the one who's, you know, if you've read Catalyst or if you've seen Rogue One, he's kind of vital to the creation of
his name's Galen?
Galen Erso. So one part of this comic is Darth Vader goes to his lab in Coruscant. So I'm assuming this is still even before the events of Catalyst, and he finds out, oh, he's using kyber crystals as the form of, for like destroying the laser or whatever, right? He kind of figured, it's like, is that directly said? It's like, oh, you're using it as a weapon, and that's crazy. So he realizes like what that could do. He sends a droid to Lyra, who is mining kyber crystals for Galen. But he doesn't say, oh, I'm from Darth Vader. He's like, I have been sent to tell you that the work that your husband is doing will completely change the galaxy, and you should try to get him to stop doing his research. So basically, Vader warned Lyra Erso, and I don't remember, like, because in Catalyst, she's like, this is not a good idea, this is not good, and she's really involved in the Jedi or the Force. That's wild. Darth Vader almost tried like put the hint of what was going on into Lyra, who would then try to affect her husband. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. So like, that's kind of neat. Like,
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I can show you later after the show. But you know what I mean? I should have really flipped open Catalyst. I was tired last night because I read it last night, and I was like, oh man, that's so cool. It's like Vader almost tried to stop the creation of the Death Star.
That's kind of wild.
And it's like, because like at one point Tarkin says like, you don't want this to, you believe in like, you don't believe in technology, but you are a technology because you wear a suit that keeps you alive. So you just want to be the one technological aberration in the Empire, and you're jealous of this Death Star. I'm like, wow. So I was like, that's really neat. Like that he would go. So it's almost one, it gives you a more feel of like Vader was just like, well,
that should be
this is terrible.
That should be a special on the streaming site. They should make that.
Yeah. My whole point of bringing all this up is that they've really done a lot of work on Vader. Or to a point where like, yeah, you could make a movie out of this. This would be really cool. Or like you said, something on the streaming service. But
I think they got to focus on the streaming service right now.
But in the book regarding like Thrawn, it's just like, right now they're just focusing on like how they had this relationship during the Clone Wars and the relationship now, and it's juxtaposing them back and forth, and it's just Thrawn being awesome. So I'm not that deep into it, but hopefully we'll have it done within the week.
Well, you're further than I am.
Yeah.
The last point I want to make before we move on is so Timothy Zahn recently said that if they decide to bring Mary Jade into a movie, that he would nix it. How do you feel about that?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I loved the stories with her in it, and they've done a good job with Thrawn, but you know, Thrawn is just like
a villain. He said films. I don't think he said TV or anything, but maybe.
But still, this across the board, I feel like just let it go, because sort of, do you want a story where Mara Jade isn't married to Luke? I'm not saying you couldn't have a story where they meet and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's yeah, I love those stories, so I would love to have it happen. But we have The Last Jedi, and Luke is not married. Or, I mean, we don't know what Luke does. We still don't really know what happens. We have a brief, like this is what happened at the academy or the school, and this is why Kylo became who he was, and blah blah blah. Like, but that doesn't really like. There's like what 30 years in between Jedi and Force Awakens, so like there's got to be more to it than that. There has to be a realization of like, yes, what happened between Kylo and Luke is like, yeah, that could be the huge catalyst that makes Luke not trust him. But like he has to get to a point where he's like, no, the Force isn't about sides. It's just the Force. So Mara Jade involved in that, it would be kind of neat. I don't know. Unless he had a secret wife and Kylo kills Mara, like that seems predictable and kind
seems
of
like a lot of retcon.
And it doesn't really like the character Mara Jade. That's kind of like, don't put her in if that's going to be the story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Leave her out.
Yeah,
I'm like whatever. I don't care.
Maybe take her character design. Pilot. She's got red hair and goggles, and she's like an assassin, but also has the Force. Just call her something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it with Jason and Jaina Solo is basically Rey and Kylo.
How dare you?
I dare, but yeah, do something like that. Like, I don't know.
No, I agree.
Never tell me the odds. Never tell me the odds of people being mad. I just said don't bring him more.
What do you guys think? Should Mara Jade?
Yeah, let's know.
Are you okay with Zahn
Give
saying
us
that?
your theories of how they could put her.
Yeah, let us know. Because I don't know. All right, today's odds are brought to us by the Andrew Fantasia YouTube channel. Andrew will pay $55 per word spoken during this Never Tell Me the Odds segment.
That is very charitable of you.
Yeah. So, Andrew, that is now, how much do you think that is? We're at $1,000 yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
we'll
write you a check.
In deep now.
If you haven't checked out the Andrew Fantasia YouTube channel, don't.
No, do it.
He reviews the worst movies ever.
The worst. Ant-Man and the Wasp. No, terrible. I like that movie.
Did you like San Diego Comic-Con? Did you like the trailers that were released?
Yeah, I did. I know you were found that to be a hot topic. I'm excited for both Aquaman and Shazam. I'm trying to think of what I haven't watched the new Harry Potter trailer.
I did not like Aquaman trailer. Mm-hmm. I hate the Aquaman logo more than anything. Why put the DC logo in the Aquaman Star Trek seal? Why would you do? So anyway, that looks dumb. That looks just like a 4-year-old.
Aquaman, it's back and forth. Like it could be beautiful or it could be a green screen prison. It's hard to tell at this point.
From what I saw, it looked like something that I just was like, man.
I mean, if it can be visually appealing as like Valerian and somehow have a better story, that would be, I mean, which isn't much because Valerian's sort of like, but it's like the effects in it are like, yeah, you believe it exists. So like a place like Atlantis, you kind of have to have that quality. But anyways.
Yeah, no, it might be a good movie, but this trailer for me, it was like, and you know what? I didn't like there are trailers that I don't like and I end up liking the movies a lot more. Like I didn't mind Aquaman in Justice League, and I hated his stuff in the trailer for Justice League. And then I was like, oh, you know what was surprising?
No, go ahead.
Oh no, so I didn't care for the Aquaman trailer. It kind of underwhelmed me in a lot of ways.
Like the other problem with Aquaman is like Jason Momoa is just gonna be Jason Momoa.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, I don't know if I'm a Jason Momoa fan.
It's
like the overacting on the smile in the poster was one thing, but now I gotta sit through the trailer.
Yeah.
He's just like, I get it. You think you're cool. He has tattoos. He's cool. Then the Shazam trailer, which I saw after Aquaman, but I think it was released first. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
It looked like a 90s superhero movie. Like it looked like Shaq should be starring in it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like...
It's definitely going to be goofy. But you kind of have to be because it's a kid that becomes a huge man. And,
but the thing is, and not to go against what's the guy that plays him? Levi Jones. Not to say anything negative to him, but he almost looks too innocent. Yeah. Like they should have gone with somebody
It looks like... I know he's in shape.
Yeah, he's in shape,
the muscles don't look real.
Yeah, and his face though does not look.
Yeah, it should be more of like a blocky.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about the Shazam artwork that I always see. I don't read Shazam. I never really have.
But like, I never watched Ed. I thought he was pretty good as one of the companion. Ed? Not Ed. Chuck. He was Chuck. I had my white guy name screwed up. I never watched Chuck, but I know it had a huge following and it was a very interesting show. So I think the humor part of it's gonna be. I'm excited that like his friend is Eddie from is it Eddie? Yeah, Eddie from It.
You're getting your white names mixed up again.
Was he?
I'm just joking. Anyway, that one was whatever.
But it looks like they're trying to follow the storyline of Jeff Johns and Frank Gary's Shazam, which was like after the New 52. They was sort of like you could read parts of it in the back of Justice League. I don't know if they've ever collected it, but the idea like he's an orphan at a like whatever, and he lives with in a foster home. Like his friend is got the whatever, and they fight against which like a lot of people have been putting Instagrams of the stills and the comic, and it's like wow, that looks pretty cool. So I might follow that. So if you can get that and collect it, it might be worth it. I enjoyed it, but I can't remember how it ends. So
you will in whenever it comes out.
But like it's Shazam in the last like 15 years has always been kind of jokey because it's still a kid. It's basically big, right?
Yeah.
So like whenever they put him in the cartoon, he's always like, "Oh, hi, Superman."
Anyway, that one was like, I was like, okay, fine. But I actually really liked the Godzilla trailer.
I still didn't watch that either. I no, but is Millie Bobby Brown in that movie?
Yeah, she's like the main character in the.
I saw the one where she's freaking out with the radio, but there is one where you see Godzilla, correct?
Yeah. He comes up and like shoots lightning or whatever.
Yeah, I saw that image.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I own Godzilla, but I got it for free. I wasn't a huge fan of the Gareth Edwards Godzilla. I thought, first of all, there was no color in it. This one looks like it has some color. And also, it was way too convenient, everything that happened. Like, I'm conveniently here. So I was like, well, this is weird. But this one, I was like, that's a cool trailer. And I actually really like the Fantastic Beasts trailer.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those two trailers.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Is there another trailer that was
I can't even remember half the stuff.
Titans, Batman.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. A lot of people aren't, but
see that one for me too. It just looked like a regular CW show, but with swearing and blood.
Yeah,
so I was like, and you know me, swearing and blood doesn't.
If it came down to just that, I'd probably still get the DC streaming.
You can't get it in Canada.
It'll be on something because that's one good thing. Like these shows appear somewhere if you can't get the service. Like
bring it to Canada, we won't have to go illegal on it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't crazy about that. It looked like a CW show, and not that there's anything wrong with those. I shouldn't say that. It didn't look cinematic. It looked very TV.
Oh,
if it's for a streaming site, I think you got to make it look more cinematic, like Netflix, like those Netflix Marvel shows. You're like, those are movies.
It kind of looked like a fan made.
Yeah.
So which is not a bad thing.
And I'm not saying the CW shows aren't good. I'm just saying they look like TV shows, but they are TV shows. But if you're gonna go to a streaming service, you gotta bring it.
Like there's a lot of dark Titan stories, especially when the '80s ones where they bring in Cyborg and Starfire and Raven. But it is pretty lighthearted most of the time.
But don't shoot it on an iPhone. That's what I'm saying. It's gotta the cinematography needs to look like. You know, like that's my problem with the Avengers, the first Avengers movie. It looks like a TV show. It doesn't look like a movie. Those are my problems, man.
Those are my problems. Give us the odds.
You want me to pay $9.99 for your service monthly?
Do you?
I can't. I can't get it here.
Yes.
But if you want me to, make it look like a movie, bro.
Bro.
Come at me, bro. All right. Odds.
Bro.
Finally getting into this. Andrew, that's like $4,000. Odds of droids or Ewoks being revived for the Disney streaming site. The cartoon shows.
Oh my God! Yes, 100%.
But like 3D animation or hand drawn? What? Like Pixar? What if Pixar makes the Ewoks cartoon?
See, that's a.
Can I drop this?
That's a good question because like Lucasfilms is good for both. Like they like CG and they like the hand drawn stuff or animation, whatever. Wow. I think though, like maybe they make like they have technically brought the Ewoks back in like Forces of Destiny. So when you said it first, I was thinking like, oh, just make a show where they just pop up occasionally. But you're saying like
revive.
I would love that because I would love a BB-8 cartoon. He's like the littlest hobo, Canadian reference. But think about that. It's a littlest hobo storyline with BB-8 going from system to system, looking for Poe. I'm
Canadian. I've lived here my whole life.
You've never watched The Littlest Hobo?
I've never seen The Little Hobo.
It's kind of boring. For you for our viewers that don't know what The Littlest Hobo is, it's basically a German Shepherd goes from town to town and solves mysteries.
Your roommate's wearing his sunglasses inside.
It's because he's cool. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because he doesn't talk. But yeah, go on YouTube and look up Littlest Hobo opening credits, and there's a song that will live in your mind forever.
I will. I would watch the BB-8 show more than I would watch.
Oh yeah, I would watch anything with BB-8. It would be BB great. Next odd. We are on tangents.
I'm going 0%, but a 102% I want it to happen. The odds of the Wills being mentioned in episode 9.
I want it, actually. I have been swayed to give an F about this stuff. Because at points when we were like... You know what it was? When you used to tell me about the Church of the Force or whatever, the Church of the...
That was way back right after the Force Awakens.
Because that was a big deal. In the
Force Christopher Walken.
Oh, hey. So many Jedi. I want to go 60%. I mean, it may be a little too mystical for the story. What are you doing? The storyline that you're trying to do, but like, I think they should definitely look into that more. Perhaps more in the Game of Thrones show would be better.
Here's my thing though: is when they mentioned it in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I told you this. I was talking to my friend. I was like, "Why would they mention that and have Kyber Crystal and blah blah blah?" I'm like, "God, it'll all play out in episode 8. We're gonna get an episode 8."
Yeah.
It didn't play out in episode 8. And the question, and the thing for me is, look, Solo didn't really do it, but Rogue One, I really felt like they've introduced aspects of the Star Wars lore that we know from novels and whatnot, but like my parents don't know, but now they do because it's in there. So now you can go ahead and put these in the movies, and they haven't done it. So I feel like if you don't put it in something, because they don't have payoffs, because you're like, oh, the Wills, okay, Jedi stuff, like you don't really know. Not that you need to know in Rogue One, but where's the payoff for? Where's the payoff for a Kyber Crystal? They kind of in passing mentioned that it's the power of the lightsaber, but people still, I don't think, put those together.
I just think you need to put more time into it. It's almost like the books, the Jedi books, should be in Force Awakens. You explain them more in Last Jedi, and then they pay off in the third movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fine with that. So I'm gonna go 45%. And our final at the odd that we will find out that Maz Kanata.
Welcome to Canada.
Well, Maz Kanata received Luke/Anakin/Rey's lightsaber from Lando Calrissian after he discovered it on Mustafar. No, I threw you off with the Mustafar. Cloud City. Cloud City.
I was trying to put it all in my head. I'm like, what? Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I like that. I would go 75% because it's a little. You're looking too hard for it, but I don't hate it. Like, that'd be kind of neat. What is your odds?
0.
Ooh.
I think it's just, what's the point?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Look, I think
I would like it explained, but
I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was like, I think of the Disney era, I think Rogue One has the best story. Yeah. I really like Solo, but I think Rogue One has the best story. And I still don't know what the sequel trilogy is about. Yeah. I don't know what these movies. It's 2 movies, and I don't know what they're about. Yeah. Because the first one, I was thinking about about Force Awakens. I'm like, if you were to describe it, it is about a stormtrooper who comes to his senses and meets up with a Jedi. Prodigy. Okay. That's really what it's. But it's not really. But yeah. But the problem with that one is that and it has so many so many open questions that never get answered. Who's the girl? How? That's a story for another day. Yeah. Like it's just like we won't worry about that stuff. Then you have Last Jedi, which takes place a half hour later. Yeah, yeah. So it can't answer anything because it just doesn't have the time to. So now we're the third movie in and we're finishing it.
This is why I feel like the third one should just start immediately as they leave a crate. I don't think it'll be as exciting, but like it's just weird to be like these are side by side, and then this one's like 5 years away.
Can the opening crawl just tell me what it's about?
Yeah.
Tell me what it's about. Like, these movies are about blah.
This is also what people like to call us loving that we or hating to love that we love. We like Last Jedi.
Yeah,
it's just
right now. I think I'm actually being harder on The Force Awakens than Last Jedi. Yeah, that's the one that should have said, "Hey, this is what this is about," but instead, it just said, "Remember what you love."
I mean, we're trying to look at it from every direction because, well, we do this every week, so it's nice when San Diego drops a whole bunch of stuff. We're like, oh, we have things to talk about. So, but yeah,
but nobody.
I agree with you. Like, it's
nobody dropped what these movies are about.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like the journeys of Rey, but it is. Because, like, that's what the original trilogy is, like, the adventures of Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but it's not. She hasn't been on an adventure.
Yeah, not really.
Like, she's not. She gets captured in the first one. Luke never got captured.
Yeah.
Except by Ewoks.
He was in
Ewoks.
He was in. He was in the trash compactor. Like, he got caught there. Shut them all down at the intentional level. Hollow news. First story. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that.
What?
God, what's his name? James Gunn has been let go from Marvel, or as we like to say it in the biz, fired. Because of comments he made on his Twitter feed several years ago. Now, if you're curious of what he said, they're kind of bad, they're tasteless is the best way to say it. He makes a lot of references to basically pedophilia. What I guess the nicest way to say is like just dudes talking to dudes, which is weird. So if you look it up, someone's done a screen grab and you can read them. They're I don't want to sound like I'm so cavalier because it's not something you should talk about. But anyways, because of that, it's been brought to light, and he has been let go from Marvel. So he will probably, it might change because a lot of people are getting behind him. A lot of people have. He probably won't. We'll get a new director anyway. Sorry. Back to Star Wars. So roughly maybe like a week after that, or less than a week. Rian Johnson went back and deleted pretty much all of his tweets up until like January or February of this year. So he used to tweet actively, and he had like 25,000 tweets or whatever it was. Now it's down to like 1,000. So he would still probably do what he's done, but it's come down to kind of a witch hunt. That's why I'm kind of cavalier about this. Like, you should always think about what you're gonna say, but we're getting to a point where like anything taken out of context can really affect your future. So, and with Rian Johnson, he's very vocal with fans. Like, he even retweeted to us. Like James said, "What is a group of porgs? It is called a murder," which is, I guess, canon. I hope it is. But like he wrote murder on it. So that could easily be taken. So we might get Rian Johnson fired. I don't know. But anyways, so that kind of sucks. But I guess it's a smart move. So Rian Johnson's not in trouble, so don't worry. The same with, I think Pablo Hidalgo has kind of tailored back on his tweets because he's also very vocal with the fans. So it's too bad to hear that, but we'll move on. So San Diego Comic-Con, as we were saying prior, has announced several new books coming out, and it's very exciting. E.K. Johnston will be writing Queen's Shadow, which will be about Padme Amidala.
I'm excited for that one.
And it's sort of like talking about her. We'll be looking at something from her point of view, which we haven't really seen before. So we'll probably get stories about her as Queen Amidala and then Senator Amidala. That will come out March 5th. In February 2nd, this is all next year, Star Wars Master and Apprentice, which will tell the story of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan on a dangerous mission for the Jedi. They're always dangerous missions. Then there will be a series of comics called Age of Republic, Age of Rebellion, Age of Resistance, which will work in with a lot of different characters like Darth Maul. That will come out October of this year. Or no, sorry. That'll come out next year, I believe. Starts in December. So it's if you read comics, it's an ongoing event. So the Age of Republic, and that will be across all the titles. Also in books, there will be, where is it? It's, which one is Claudia Gray writing?
Master and Apprentice.
Master and Apprentice. I was like, wait, I didn't say anything. She will be writing Master and Apprentice, so that will be very good. Star Wars Tales from Vader's Castle is coming out in October of 2018, which will be a sort of spooky take on the characters in the IDW brand. And then also there will be a book called The Women of the Galaxy, which will center around the female character of Star Wars. Cover's really nice. It looks more like not more of a book, but more of a, like a DK collection where you're like, this person and that. But I haven't really seen it. It should be interesting. All right, next story. Let's go to open here. Greg Gunberg has hinted that he will be back as Snap Wexley in episode 9. It's not official, but in an interview he said, "You know what? We'd better, or else my wife is going to kill me for growing a beard. I can't officially say anything, but this is getting itchy, and I'm getting itchy to go over there and do it." So we should see our beloved X-Wing pilot Snap Wexley back because he's very close friends with J.J. Abrams, and he's been in a lot of his projects as Alias and Felicity, which is very convenient because so is Kerry Russell is the star of Felicity. So maybe they will have some kind of arc together. That'd be fun. And in our final story, kind of sad, not sad news, but just a shout out to Peter Mayhew, who just about to undergo his spinal surgery.
It was successful.
It was successful. He has been quiet on social media for a while, but he announced that, sorry, I've been quiet as of late. I've been planning and going through some spinal surgery to improve my mobility. It's been a success, and I'll be spending the upcoming weeks recovering. A big thank you to doctor, staff, and my family and friends that helped me through this. So, yeah, he's a tall guy. He's over 7 feet tall, and after a point, your body just sort of goes after yourself. But it's good to hear that he's still doing well. I hope he's always involved with Star Wars in some form. Jonas, whatever, who does the new Chewbacca, he did a good job, but I hope Peter Mayhew gets hired every time to be Wookiee consultant. And that has been the Hollow News. All the news you hollow need. Top 5. What's our top 5 today, Jams?
I'm just gonna let you talk for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Top 5 Clone Wars things.
So episodes, in classic Brock and James fashion, so we didn't write anything down, and we don't have the titles, so we'll just say them.
I've got titles.
Oh, you got titles? I got titles. Well, my first number 5 is the one. I don't know if it's a multiple episode, but it's the one where Ahsoka gets landed on that hunting planet with the Wookiees, or one of them's a Wookiee, and the Trandoshans are hunting them. Just because I gotta mention Bosk. Bosk is actually, I don't think he's any of the Trandoshans, but it's just that's a good episode where it kind of I don't think that was a big part of the lore that Trandoshans and Wookiees don't typically get along. They even mentioned it in Last Shot where there's a Trandoshan, Chewbacca goes immediately after him. He's like, we'll get him later. So that was my number 5.
I like the Night Sisters one where they go to Dathomir.
Dathomir.
I like Dathomir a lot.
Like the very first one?
All of them.
Okay. Cool.
Anytime they go to Dathomir. Can we just say that?
Yeah. I'm going to go with if we're doing more of a running storyline, I like the one where the ARC Trooper ones where it's Echo and Fives and Heavy, how they come up from the academy or the cloning facility, and they slowly, obviously some of them die off, but you kind of follow Fives and Echo throughout, so they were always an interesting character. I love that stuff.
The one where wait, what's the one? I changed my order. Randomly changing my order. That's good. The one where Ahsoka leaves the Jedi.
Oh yeah, where she leaves or leads?
She leaves.
Oh, okay, I was like, when did that happen? Yeah, that was like, wow, that's crazy. That could really be taken. This is like, that's a sweet boomerang right there.
Aaron would love it.
Number 3 for me would be young Boba Fett. The first time we meet him.
Mine
like,
too.
Yeah, like just the again. There's my way of getting Bosk back into the game, and then Aura saying, "Oh well, like a character that was just almost pointless in just in the background in Phantom Menace is like, wow, that's so cool." And now she's mentioned in Han Solo, so it's great. Is that your number 3 as well?
Yeah, that's my number 3.
Cool.
My number 2, when Maul came back.
Yeah, my number 2 is that as well.
That was awesome.
It's hard to pin that all down because it's such a long storyline, but yeah, I like that quite a bit. It's the one thing I need to really rewatch because there's times where I'm like, I can't remember anything.
It's on Netflix.
It is, but I haven't gotten that far. When you watch it chronologically, you're like, wow, this is taking forever to get to good stuff.
Yeah.
And your number 1?
Number 1 was when Maul fights Obi-Wan, when he kills the team.
Oh, okay.
Duchess is dead.
What is the episode with the planet that has the Force on it?
Oh,
what's it called? We talk about this all the time. What's it called?
Mortis.
That was fun because they're like, oh, he's evil, but then they do the mind wipe at the end. But it was interesting. It's one of the things, and it's been brought up. What was it? Why did Andrew bring it up? Oh, in the Rebels season 4, like the idea of this thing that we don't see in the Force, like that sort of lays the framework for it. Like we kind of understand like stuff that happens in Rebel, like the Star Bridge thing. It's like, oh yeah, that's kind of neat. Like and the idea of like, I don't know. I read it's cool. It's nice to learn more about the Force, and it's something like the mystical side of Star Wars, where I think they want to like go into that more.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what happens on the streaming site because it seems like Filoni has a handle on this more than anybody.
Yeah.
Not that nobody else has a handle. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just like you're just talking about the comics and the books and nothing. They never really go into this stuff.
No.
He's the only one that seems to. Maybe not have a handle, but an interest in a vested interest in it. So maybe we'll see more of it in the future. It would be nice to see. What are your guys' favorite moments from the Clone Wars TV show /episode / but we just were like, let's talk more Clone Wars. But we're running along. This is a long episode. This is really long, Brock.
Sorry, I coughed. Mute.
103 episodes. Did you have fun?
Yeah, I always have fun.
Well, that's good because you were always Scum.
Clone Scum. Check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Give us your money. No. Help us out. We're doing this for you as best we can.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.